Sri Lanka's number one, Gold FM, 93 or 93.2, island-wide.
Making way for a very happy Sinhala and Tamil New Year.
The news headlines on Gold FM.
President unveils relief package amid Mideast crisis. Opposition alleges unannounced power cuts. Former head of Rupavahini under arrest. We can take out Iran in a day and it may be tomorrow, warns Trump. Goes on to say a civilization will die tonight. Iranian leadership vows defiance as US threatens. Artemis astronauts now earthbound.
The top story on Gold FM.
In an explosive Truth Social post released just moments ago, US President Donald Trump has issued a grave warning, stating that, quote, a whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again, unquote, unless Iran agrees to reopen the Strait of Hormuz and accept a deal to end the conflict by his 8 p.m. Eastern Time deadline of 5:30 a.m. local time. Trump added that he does not want this to happen, but it probably will, while holding out a slim hope that, quote, something revolutionarily wonderful, unquote, might still emerge under what he described as a new, less radicalized Iranian leadership. The stark message has intensified fears of imminent large-scale US strikes on Iranian power plants and other critical infrastructure as the deadline rapidly approaches. Now, Trump reminded Iran of the deadline during the special White House press conference last evening too.
And an entire country can be taken out in one night, and that night might be tomorrow night. We have a plan, because of the power of our military, where every bridge in Iran will be decimated by 12 o'clock tomorrow night, where every power plant in Iran will be out of business, burning, exploding, and never to be used again. I mean, complete demolition by 12 o'clock, and it'll happen over a period of 4 hours if we wanted to. We don't want that to happen. We have to have a deal that's acceptable to me, and part of that deal is going to be, we want free traffic of oil.
Now, in response, Iran has called on civilians to form human chains to protect key power plants and energy facilities from potential attacks. Iranian state media reports that people are mobilizing across the country in a show of defiance and solidarity. Now, meanwhile, blasts have been reported in several Iranian locations, including a strike on Kog Island, a vital oil export terminal, and an Israeli attack on a rail bridge in Kashan that has disrupted transport links. Iranian sources say at least 2 people were killed in one of the strikes in the past 12 hours. Now, tensions remain sky high as the world awaits to see whether Tehran will make any last-minute move to avert what could be a devastating escalation. We can now cross over to an analyst from Professor Michael Clark on whether these threats against Tehran would actually materialize.
Do you think that an escalation later on today is possible?
I've always thought he wouldn't do it, partly because it won't get him anywhere strategically. It just takes the war completely out of control and his control. And he always does find a way out of these things. But he's walked himself into a very, very tight corner now. And there are still a couple of things that could happen, in the sense that he could say, well, because of events in the last few hours, I've decided to give it another few days because we're making progress somewhere. Or strikes which are not these apocalyptic strikes that he's been threatening 4 hours to destroy a country and that sort of ridiculous thing, that he might so involve himself in some strikes and then say, well, I'll pause now so you can see what we can do, and buy himself a bit of time. So there are ways in which this could be off-ramped. Against that, my instinct is that that's what he would be looking to do. But against that, the fact is that when, in the past, when the Americans have built up this sort of force, and whether against Venezuela or in this case, they've tended to use it. They tend to press the go button rather than the go home button. And secondly, there's a sense in which, because he's in such a tight spot now, it looks if somebody's gone early, the things that we're hearing about today, the attack on Kharg Island, assuming it's the Americans, maybe the Israelis, I'm not certain, we don't know. But if it's the Americans and they're attacking bridges, which is what he said would be the target set for tomorrow, they've gone early. Why would they do that? Why give the Iranians, again, the propaganda victory of saying twice we've been in negotiations and you've attacked us while we're negotiating? This is the third time we are technically in negotiations and you've attacked us while we're in negotiations. That's a propaganda victory for them with the global south. Why would the Americans do that? Unless the Israelis are trying to bounce the Americans into going early, which is plausible, but I don't know. Why would the Americans be going early? There is a sense in which there's a momentum that seems to have started a couple of hours ago, which is leading him into a pretty disastrous set of circumstances.
Now, in the meantime, in a major security incident in Istanbul today, gunfire erupted near the Israeli consulate, leaving at least 3 people dead and about 2 Turkish police officers injured. According to Turkish media and officials, 3 attackers approached a police checkpoint outside the building housing the consulate and opened fire, triggering a fierce exchange that lasted around 10 minutes. Turkish security forces neutralized the assailants, with at least 2 gunmen confirmed killed. One attacker was reportedly linked to a terror group. The full identities and motives are still under urgent investigation by Turkey's Justice Ministry. Israel has condemned the attack, thanking Turkish authorities for their swift response, while insisting that terror will not deter its operations. The shooting comes amid soaring regional tensions in the US-Israel war against Iran, raising fears of a wider spillover violence into neutral countries like Turkey.
This is the local news on Gold FM.
Former Sri Lanka Rupawahini Corporation Chairman Sarath Kongahage and former Additional Director General Devapriya Abesinghe stand remanded until the 17th of April. The Colombo Chief Magistrate issued the order today following their arrest by the Bribery Commission for causing financial losses to the state broadcaster. They face allegations of recruiting 6 employees outside the approved cadre to serve on the personal staff of former Minister Kehli Rabukwala. Now, meanwhile, Nuwara Eliya Pradeshika Sabha Chairman Velu Yograj also remains in custody until the 17th of April following his arrest by the bribery officials. Investigators charged him with corruption after he bypassed official procedures to approve a construction plan on state land in 2021. The legal approval reportedly provided an undue advantage to a private applicant at the expense of the state. Now, crossing over to updates from the Parliament, President Anura Kumara Dissanayake unveiled a comprehensive 3-month relief package in Parliament today to support citizens affected by the ongoing Middle Eastern conflict. Under the new measures, the fertilizer subsidy for farmers rises from 25,000 to 30,000 rupees, while additional crop subsidies also see an increase. Aswasama welfare beneficiaries will receive a significant boost for April, with the 17,500 rupee allowance increasing to 25,000 rupees and the 10,000 rupee payment rising to 15,000 rupees. The President also confirmed a 2,500 rupee hike for individuals in the transitional phase as a part of the emergency financial support. Furthermore, the President stated that those consuming electricity under 90 units will receive a relief, and the total amount set aside to fund that relief is 5,000 million rupees a month. Now, in the meantime, Member of Parliament Mujibur Rahman informed Parliament today that unannounced power cuts are currently taking place across the country. In response, the subject minister Kumara Jayakodi stated that the interruptions occurring in certain areas are electricity breakdowns rather than intentional power cuts. Now, meanwhile, the Speaker presented a Special Auditor General's report to Parliament today regarding the coal purchasing process of the Lanka Coal Company for the Lakvijay power plant. The report covers coal procurement for the 2025 to 2026 season. Leader of the House, Minister Bimal Ratnayake, alongside members of Parliament Ajit P. Pereira, S.M. Marikkar and Dayasiri Jayasekara also shared their views on the matter.
ඉන්ධන මිල ඉහළ යාම අනුව මාකට් එකේ ප්‍රයිස් එකට දැන් ගියොත් ඩීසල් ලීටරයක් රුපියල් 600 ඉක්මවනවා. ඒ 600 ඇතුලේ රුපියල් 50ක එක්සයිස් ඩියුටි එකක් තියෙනවා. බද්ද එසේම තිබෙන ගමන් අපි අලෙවි වෙන හැම ඩීසල් ලීටරයකටම රුපියල් 100 දක්වා මුදලක් මහ භාණ්ඩාගාරය වෙන් කරනවා. ඉන්ධන එළබෙන මේ මාසේ පළවෙනිදා ගලපනවා. ඩීසල් ලීටරයක් සඳහා රුපියල් 100 දක්වා සහන ආධාරයක් දෙනවා. පෙට්‍රල් ලීටරයක් සඳහා රුපියල් 20 දක්වා සහන ආධාරයක් දෙනවා. ඒ අනුව අපි ගණනය කරලා තියෙනවා මාසයකට ඒ සඳහා යනවා බිලියන 20ක්. එඳා මාස 3කට අපි මේ සඳහා යෝජනාව සකස් කරලා තිබෙනවා. උන්වහන්සේලා හැම විටම කියන ගල්අඟුරු වල ප්‍රමිතිය අඩු නිසා යම් ප්‍රමාණයක් අඩුවෙන් නිෂ්පාදනය වෙන්නේ විදුලි ඒකක. ඒවා අනික් බලාගාර වලින් ගන්න යනකොට ඇතිවන අතිරේක වියදම. බොරතෙල් එන්න තිබුණ නැවක් ප්‍රමාදයට ලක් වුණා. ඊට පස්සේ තව නැවක් එන්න තිබුණ එකක් ප්‍රමාදයට ලක් වෙලා තිබෙනවා. අප්‍රේල් මාස 16 17 වගේ තමයි අපිට දැන්ට බොරතෙල් නැවක් එන්නේ. පිරිපහදු යම් ප්‍රමාණයකට අපිට දවස් කීපයක් වසා තබන්න සිද්ධ වේවි මේ අනුව. අපි අපේක්ෂා කරන නිෂ්පාදනය ගල්අඟුරු වලින් සිදු නොවීම නිසා ඇතිවන බලපෑම. ස්ථාවලම 270 හැදෙන්නේ ඒක ඇත්ත. මේ ගල්අඟුරු වල ප්‍රමිතිය ප්‍රශ්නයක් තිබෙනවා. ඒතර කිසිසේත්ම ටෙන්ඩරේ ප්‍රශ්නයක් නෙවෙයි. සපයන සමාගම නිවැරදි පරිදි අපිට සපයන්නේ නිවැරදි ගල්අඟුරු නොමැතිකම. ගල්අඟුරු නිවැරදි නැද්ද කියලා බලන්නේ මම හෝ කවුරුවක් කාලා හපලා නෙවෙයි. ඒක බලන්නේ නියමිත පරීක්ෂණාගාරවලින්. ඒ නිසා අපි සමහර ගල්අඟුරු වලට 120 ගෙවීමක් හිටවලා තිබෙනවා. සමහර වාර්තා වලට ඒවට පෙනල්ටි තීරණය කරලා තිබෙනවා. සමහර ඒවාට අපි 180 ගෙවලත් නෙවෙයි. ප්‍රමිතිය අඩු හේතු කොටගෙන ගල්අඟුරු වලින් නිෂ්පාදනය කරන විදුලිය අපිට ඩීසල් වලින් නිෂ්පාදනය කරන්න සිද්ධ වෙන අතිරේක වියදම තියෙනවා නම් ඒ අතිරේක වියදම එම සමාගම හරහා අය කරගන්න. ඒ කිසිසේත්ම මේ රටේ පුරවැසියන්ගේ ලයිට් බිලට එකතු කරන්නේ නැහැ. ඒක මතක තබා ගන්න. ගෙවගෙන අසමතුන් නඩු යනවා. ඒවා පාරිභෝගිකයන්ගේ බිලට ඇතුල් කරන්නේ නැහැ. පන්දන් ටික පස්සේ තියාගන්න ඕනේ. අර ගල්අඟුරු වලින් ප්‍රමිතියෙන් බාල නිසා හැදෙන විදුලියේ කොටස දරා ගන්න ඕන සමාගම. ඒනෝ අපි තීරණය කළා තිබෙනවා ඒකක 90ට වඩා අඩු වෙන්න අය විදුලි බිලේ ඇති වෙන වෙනස්කමකදී සහනාධාරයක් දෙන්න. ඒ සහනාධාරය සඳහා අපි වෙන් කරනවා මාසකට රුපියල් කෝටි 500ක්. මාස 3කට අපිට වෙන් කරලා තියෙනවා රුපියල් කෝටි 1500ක්. මේ අර්බුද මේ විදිහට මතුන 2022 දී මම පොඩ්ඩක් කියන්න. 5000 ගහලා බෙදුවා. අවස්ථා දෙකකදී විතර බෙදුවනේ. උද්දමනේ 70ට ගියා. බෙදලා දාන්න පුළුවන්. ඔබලට මතක ඇති. ඒ දික්ටුවා විනාශයට අපිට අතිරේක වශයෙන් අපි කෝටි 50000ක් මා ජනතාවගේ වුණා වෙනින් අපි යෙදුවා. එහෙම ආණ්ඩු. ඒක තමයි ආණ්ඩු කියන්නේ. ඒ වගේම මේ ව්‍යසනයේදී අපි දැනට වෙන් කරලා තියෙනවා රුපියල් කෝටි 10000ක් මා මේ ඉදිරිපත් කළ පැකේජ් එක ඇතුලේ තියෙනවා. මා හිතන්නේ මේ වෙලාවේ අපි ජනතාවට සහනයක් දී යුතුයි. ජනතාව බලාගත යුතුයි. ඒ වෙනුවෙන් අපිට දරාගත් ඒක ප්‍රමාණය බිලියන 100ක වැය ශීර්ෂයක් අපි දරලා තියෙනවා මාස 3කට. හැබැයි මේ තත්ත්වය මීට වඩා වර්ධනය වෙනවා. වර්ධනය වෙන නැවත අපි තමුන්වන්සලා ගාවට එන්නම්. ඇවිල්ලා අපි යෝජනා ඉදිරිපත් කරන්න අපිට ඒක අනුමත කරලා දෙන්න. අපේ අයවැය ලේඛනයේ තුලින්ම තමයි මේ බිලියන 100 හොයා ගැනීම සඳහා අපි සැලසුම් කළා. කිසිසේත්ම ආණ්ඩුවේ ණය පංගුව වැඩි වෙන්නේ නැහැ. දැන්ට ජාත්‍යන්තර මූල්‍ය අරමුදල කණ්ඩායමින් ඔබ අපි උත්සාහ කරනවා බ්‍රහස්පතින්දා ඔවුන් එක්ක මාණ්ඩලික මට්ටමේ ගිවිසුම මෙහිදීම අත්සන් කරන්න. මේ එකඟතාවය ලැබුණොත් අපිට 5-6 කියන වාරික දෙක එකටම ලැබෙනවා.
And the government has finalized an integrated transport plan to accommodate the influx of passengers travelling to their hometowns for the upcoming new year. Starting tomorrow and continuing until the 20th of April, an additional 800 daily trips will be added to the existing bus and train schedules. In the meantime, in more local news, Litro Gas has assured the public of an uninterrupted supply of gas during the New Year period. While the average monthly demand is approximately 28,000 metric tons, the company has already ordered 38,000 metric tons to meet the festive surge. Officials confirm that significant stocks are currently held in floating warehouses in the Maldives, with further shipments expected to arrive throughout April and early May.
Now for some news in brief.
The National Water Supply and Drainage Board announced a 12-hour water cut for Pyalanwath and several areas due to the prevailing dry weather conditions. Accordingly, the water cut will be in effect from 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. tomorrow.
The business news on Gold FM.
The all-share price index of the Colombo Stock Exchange closed at 21,032.46 points after losing 94.14 points today. The S&P/SL 20 index also ended at 5,832.82 points following a 28.63 point loss. Turnover totaled 1.8 billion rupees. Brent crude edged higher to $110.03 per barrel today following a 55-cent gain. West Texas Intermediate crude price rose by $2.05 to $114.05 per barrel, marking a 1.82% increase. These gains reflect a general upward trend currently observed across global energy markets.
International news on Gold FM.
The 4-member crew of NASA's Artemis 2 mission now proceeds towards Earth following a historic transit of the lunar far side. During the maneuver, the Orion spacecraft reached a distance exceeding 248,655 miles from Earth, surpassing the long-standing record established by the Apollo 13 mission in 1970. The operation involved a critical 40-minute period of radio silence as the vessel transitioned between the moon, during which the astronauts remained out of contact with mission control. Upon re-establishing communication, the crew reported a successful flyby of lunar surfaces at an altitude of only a few thousand miles. From this position, the team witnessed a total solar eclipse, observing the sun's corona as the moon obstructed its light.
Entertainment news on Gold FM.
Celine Dion announced 6 additional dates for her comeback concert season in Paris this September and October after pre-sales triggered a surge in demand. The new performances are scheduled for September 18th and 25th, alongside October 2nd, 9th, 16th and 17th.
Sports news on Gold FM.
18 schools prepare to compete for the championship title as the Dialogue Schools Under-19 Rugby League begins on April 20th. The tournament structure divides teams into 3 groups of 6, including traditional powerhouses Royal Trinity and St. Peter's. Only the top 2 schools from each group qualify for the high-stakes Super 6 stage. Gold FM sister channel Sun FM will provide island-wide coverage on 98.7 and 98.9 for the duration of the league as the official radio broadcaster. That's all the news for now. Stay tuned to Gold FM for the latest updates. This is Avidindra Soma for Gold FM News.